Hello, I am Munir Hoque and welcome to my Android app development tutorial. Today our topic is ViewModelFactory. ViewModelFactory is a specially designed class which follows the factory design pattern and creates ViewModel classes for us. ViewModelFactory also provides some kind of very simple and modular dependency injection without using any dependency framework, which is useful for small and medium sized projects. On a side note, please do not use ViewModelFactory as dependency injection in larger projects. Use any framework like Dagger or CodeIn instead. So in this tutorial, we will see how to use ViewModelFactory and why particularly it is useful. If you already familiar with factory design pattern, then it will be easy to understand. But if you not, don't worry, I will explain factory design pattern later in this tutorial with example. Now, before jumping into code, to make ViewModelFactory, we will retrospect our project first and see what exact problem we are going to solve today using ViewModelFactory. So this is our project and we applied ViewModel and live data for fragment puzzle, and fragment puzzle has associated ViewModel as puzzle ViewModel, and here we applied live data. We applied some live data to actually mutable live data to update our UI in the fragment puzzle. So our app looks like this. So we press here and put some value again. And this is our game. This is our fragment game over fragment. So this is our game over fragment. And if we go to the game over fragment, here we see it is accepting data as because all this score passed here as navigation save arcs, and it get data from navigation save arcs. It's okay, but as we are using ViewModel and live data, so according to ViewModel, our data, our UI data shouldn't resides in the fragment or activity. So it needs a treatment. We need to transfer this UI data to ViewModel. So we will create a ViewModel class for our fragment game over. We go to our here and name it game over ViewModel. Okay. And create a class which will extend ViewModel. Okay, which will extend ViewModel and enter. Sorry. Okay. Now, one thing to notice that we came here in the game over fragment with a score. So if we create a view model for this fragment, we also need our view model to initialize our view model with a value. That's why we are going to create a constructor, and we want to initialize with our view model with a value. So it will be like, we'll give it name a final score, and it will be type of integer. We want to initialize our view model with a score. Okay, now we can go back to our fragment game over, and here we will create the view model for we will create the association for the our newly created game over view model. We create a view model here. So let init var game over view model here, and now inside our activity on create activity on create view, we create the instantiate it like game over view model equals view model provider view model provider owner of the view model. So it will be in our case this fragment, and dot get our view model class game over view model, and it will be class.java. But if we run our code, it will be definitely crash, because we know our game over view model is will be initialized here with a constructor, but we cannot provide any constructor here because we are not using this instantiate our view model in our way. It is instantiate with view model provider. So if we press any value here, just we create any value like 4, and we cannot, if we do that, it will, our code will break. So how we can solve this problem? So here comes the ViewModelFactory to rescue us. Let's see what is ViewModelFactory and how it works. Now first we delete these things because it will break our code. Okay, as I already said, ViewModelFactory creates view model. Okay, let me explain a little bit. ViewModelFactory has all those dependencies or all those data to create a view model. Like in our case, when we need score data in our game over view model, but game over view model actually doesn't, we cannot instantiate, or we cannot access, or we cannot create that view model in our from our fragment. So in our case, if we use ViewModelFactory, as ViewModelFactory will contain all those necessary data and dependencies to create our view model, will it be a very beautiful thing? Yes, obviously. But before jumping into code, I would like to focus a little or give a little brief on factory design pattern, because I think that factory design pattern is a nice little thing to understand the whole scenario. What does it takes to create a view model factory? Let's see an example. Go to a browser for the example, and here is the example, because this is the most simple and interesting example I found here in internet. I will also give this link in the video description, please see by yourself. So in a nutshell, that here is the thing, that here is the main class, main function, and from the main function we need to generate the bill. Okay, this is the abstract class, and we can this class extends, and there are 3 child class like commercial bill, domestic bill, and industrial bill. Just think it is a power distribution or electrical company. So we can generate bill from directly from here, from commercial bill. Either we can extend the get bill from the commercial bill or domestic bill or industrial bill. All those have all those classes has the same function name get bill. Okay, but instead doing this, we are giving all those dependencies to a factory, which itself a class, and factory knows the what bill I should make. Depending these dependencies, it will create either industrial bill or domestic bill or commercial bill. If we see the code, it will be little more clear. Okay, from the main.java, here we can see that this is the bill this is the build, and first we create the factory build and create a new factory class. This is the factory class, and when I creating the build is a interface here. When creating the build, we are giving a little dependency here. Here is a string, and we go to the factory, and if the type is null, it is returning null, and if the type is domestic, it is pay some heed here that when we instantiate with a string, that factory is creating a domestic class, or depending on the string it is created the depending domestic class or commercial class or in this institutional class for it. That depending on this dependency, this factory class is creating object for our for us. This is giving the dependency to factory, and factory is creating these classes for us. This is the factory design pattern in a nutshell. If you go through the code, you will learn more, but I think this is all about factory design pattern in this stage. So going back to our code, so let us create the ViewModelFactory here, our factory class, like create new and Kotlin file, and we name it score ViewModelFactory because it is all about the score. So score ViewModelFactory, and we already have some so we first create the class score ViewModelFactory, and in this class we will pass the same argument. Here this is our dependency, so we create here so it will be private val, and we extend our factory provider because we already have a ViewModel provider and dot factory. So ViewModel provider dot factory, okay, and it has a built-in class because we need to implement one class, so that one function here, and it will be create. So be create, we will override this create function, deleting this line, and please have a close look in this function. This function will return, the create function will return a type of T, and T is our ViewModel class. So we will eventually typecast our T with our game ViewModel class. Let's see how to do it. So we create a condition that if model class, this model class is this model class, so model class dot is assignable from, and this assignable from will be our expected game over view model. So just copy it, and game over view model, and it will be class.java. Then we will return an object of this type. Okay, so we will return an object of this type with this parameter or dependencies. So here, and it will be typecast as T. Sorry, I made a mistake. So it will be final score. This final score. Okay, final score. Okay. Now we need an exception here, and so anybody it is possible to create give wrong dependencies. So in order to handle it, we create an illegal argument description, and you can give anything here, that Okay, so in this way we create a ViewModelFactory. Now we will initialize this score ViewModelFactory from fragment gameover and create our expected gameover ViewModel. So let's go to the fragment gameover and create a ViewModelFactory object or declare a object. So let init var score ViewModelFactory and we go to on view created where we getting the arguments. By the way, we tried to create game over view model inside our on create view, and I think you should cut it and paste it under the arguments late because what is the reason? Actually, we are using the arguments. We will create this, or we will get data from the argument, so it is more reliable to initialize all our object from here. Okay, and now we will create our newly factory class here. So score ViewModelFactory, and it will be score ViewModelFactory, and we will provide with this arguments. So args dot score, and finally this factory we will use this factory with as a parameter of ViewModel provider. So we just copy the factory here and paste it here. So in this way we will create our expected view game over view model object. Well, now I would like to use this score as live data. So we go back to our we close our ViewModelFactory and we go back to our game over view model and create a live data for a score. So it will be val score, it will be mutable live data, and would be type of integer. And okay, by the way, if you don't know how live data works, please go back to my previous tutorial on live data. You will get enough information how to create, use and implement live data in your project. Okay, however, in init we create a init block, and inside the init block score dot value, and the value will be this final score. Okay, final score. Going back to our fragment game over, here we will create the observer for our newly created live data. So we'll go back here, and inside and below this line, we will create it. So it will be game over view model dot score dot observe, and here we need to give the view lifecycle owner. So view lifecycle owner and observer, and observer it will be, we just copy paste this line. We just copy it and delete this line, and it will be this final score equals, in our case the it is defining the integer, so it dot toString. Okay, now we can run our code. Let's test our app. So just type anything, and we get our score. And this time we are getting a score using live data, and ViewModel is hosting this live data, and our ViewModel is created through the score ViewModelFactory from here. So we have, in this tutorial, we learned about score ViewModel, ViewModelFactory, which is a nice little feature you can use in your project, and we will use this ViewModelFactory in some upcoming tutorials also. So having a clear understanding is necessary. So if you like my video, please give a like and share in your social media accounts, and if you not subscribed yet, please subscribe, and I am signing off. Good night.